Hi, everybody. I'm Casey with Breaking Forward Coaching, and I am here today for a conversation with Ronnie Marmo. Ronnie is an actor, a playwright, a director, a producer. He is currently in a solo show right now called I'm Not a Comedian, I'm Lonnie Bruce, which has been getting incredible reviews. And you've had a long, complex career. And so I'm really looking forward to sitting down and talking with you today about how you got where you are, challenges, what motivates you, all of that stuff. So let's get into it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thanks for being here. Do you
Oh,
want to go
yeah,
ahead
yeah.
and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Well, thanks for having me, first of all. I've had a complicated career and life, by the way, but separate issue. I live in Los Angeles. I grew up in New Jersey, mostly Brooklyn and New Jersey. And I came out here, I guess it was January of '99, which is crazy. I've been out here pretty much half my life. And I've been blessed enough to make a living in showbiz. The last job I had outside of show business was the summer of '98. I worked at the Macaroni Grill in Edison, New Jersey, and that was my last job outside of showbiz. So I've, over the years learned how to direct and write and produce, and obviously perform is been my bread and butter. So it's been great. I just feel really blessed I get to do it, and I love doing it. I love telling stories, and um, that kind of led me here. I realized that show business is tough, and as an actor, you don't want to wait in the line waiting for someone to call you. So I really have taken the approach in my career to create my own material and stuff, and hopefully provide that for others, and have the showbiz people come to you because you're creating something that they're interested in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Was show business something that you were interested in at a young age, or when did it like click for you, like this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm meant to do, and this is what I'm going to do?
Well, as a kid, I wouldn't be able to label it so perfectly. I hung out in New Jersey, and we did a lot of crazy stuff as a teenager. And I was always the one who would, like, we would run loose on the streets, and then I would go home and like write poetry. And I didn't know what that was. I was an artist, but I had no idea like there was something about, that was really attractive to me. Or I'd watch movies and I'd be like, wow, look at that performance. And I'd watch like a scene over and over, but I had no idea I wanted to do it or even what to call it. And then when I was about 20, 21, 22-ish, I used to go to plays with my mom locally in New Jersey, to see this guy, Pat Carpenter, who was a good friend. And he went from play to play, just community theater, but we would always go support him. And when I would go, I would light up and be like, oh my God, look at that. Look at all these people watching these actors. And I didn't know what it was. And my mom would say, you should do it. And I'd be like, no, I can't do it. I can't get up in front of those people. And then she passed away. I was 24 and she was 53. She was a young woman and she passed away. And so I knew that I wanted to do it. I just didn't have the courage. So I called that guy, Pat Carpenter, and I said, hey, if you ever hear about a tryout, I didn't even know it was called an audition because I was a sports kid. So I was like, tryout, I want to try out for a play. And so he said, okay. And so I auditioned for this play at the Edison Valley Playhouse in New Jersey, and Bill Cecilberg gave me my first yes. And when I walked on stage, I'll never forget it. It was like a bone out right through my heart. And I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. I found the thing I love, and I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to play out, but I knew that it was going to be a part of my life. And it took my mom dying for me to have the courage to like really pursue it because I wanted to do it. And I was just kind of shy about it. That's what happened. And then I fell in love, and here we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Has that passion ever, have you ever questioned it, or has it always been, have you always just been like, this is where I'm meant to be? Because I know that the show business can be very challenging, very hard to get your foot in the door. Um, have you had
I
setbacks
oh
and
yeah.
questioned it?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, I question it pretty much every night at midnight still.
Right.
And then in the morning I wake up going, let's go, I'm ready. So I've never questioned it to a point where I thought about giving it up, but I
Mhm.
did, but of course I always have doubts. And I suffer from the human condition. Today you're only as good as your last performance. So, today I'm great, tomorrow I'm like, I need a job. So um I never doubted what I was going to do with the rest of my life. People always ask me like, what's the definition of making it?
Mhm.
And I have a very specific definition for that. And it's not related to money at all. I always feel like if you have to sleep 8 hours, if you're lucky enough, and you have to get some job for another 8 hours, what are you doing with those other 8 hours? Like, what do you want to do? Like, so I really felt like in a way I made it the second I made a life decision about it. And then the money came and I got very lucky, but there's a lot of amazing artists who are not being paid for it. And that's terrible. So I think if you somehow equate money to success, there's in this business, it could be dangerous. So
Mhm.
I always question whether I will get another opportunity, but I never consider not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. We so with Breaking Forward, we've done some seminars and some workshops and stuff around burnout. And for someone like you, like I would imagine you're doing this play night after night after night, late nights and everything. How do you
Yeah.
combat out?
You know, it's hard because if you see me 20 minutes before I go on stage, the play I'm currently doing, the Lenny Bruce show, is so demanding, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's just so demanding. And so I feel like it's 90 minutes of hardcore therapy. I laugh, I cry, I fall in love. It's amazing. And my heart doesn't know that I'm acting. So I hope I don't perform from the neck up. So every night before I go on stage, I tell the stage manager, please tell the audience I'm not coming out. I'm not interested. I can't do this. I don't have it tonight. It happens every night. I pace around, I yell and scream. I cry a little bit and I go, I don't want to do this. And then I walk on stage and this thing happens. The lights come on and the people are there. And when I usually there's about a half a page down, the first page, there's a great laugh I get. And when that happens every night, I'm like, the drug, I'm back, I'm back. And it's just this relationship that I can't deny. Every night I don't think I'm good enough to do it. And then every night the magic happens and the audience holds me up to the light. And it's really quite remarkable. And that's why I know I'm a performer because I suffer from lots of self-doubt and yet perseverance.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I don't, it's funny. It's like, I lead with as much vulnerability as anyone could, and I don't quite think I have it, and then I get up there, and then the next day it happens again. So, so that's the thing is there's this like relationship that I is undeniable. It's kind of like I think about Ozzy and him passing away a few weeks back, and I think about his last performance, and I so relate to him, like where if because obviously he knew, I think he knew, and so it's like, well, do you have to perform one more time? And the answer for me would be yes. Like I need that one last one. So it's just part of me, good,
Yeah.
bad, or you know, it is what it is. So
Yeah, that's awesome. It's beautiful. What's been your favorite thing? Because you've been in TV, I think Criminal Minds and well, and a couple other ones. The solo one-man show, writing, directing. What's your favorite?
it's really hard to choose, because every project that has meant something to me, there's occasional project where you're like, hey, Sarge, phone call. And you're like, okay, I didn't get anything out of that other than a paycheck, but I'm grateful. But the projects, the storytelling, there's been some that are just so hard because they come at the perfect time in my life. I would say the two that I'm working on right now are my most, I would say, they'll mention, I think about my obituary, which is a little dark, but it's like he did this, he did that, and he got to play Lenny Bruce. and Bill Wilson, who's the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm doing that play right now as well. And so I'm doing both these shows at the same time. And so I would say those two may be the most important at this moment because not only did they stretch me to places I didn't know I can go as an actor, uh, and I love doing it so much. It turns out so many other people care about it as well. And so it's nice when you do something that people also care about and you're somehow like a part of that. You're a vessel for, so for the Bill W. and Dr. Bob show that's running currently in Los Angeles, and I play Bill Wilson, and the Lenny Bruce show, which is on tour. I would say those two, for a million reasons, are the two I think about first.
Hmm.
But television's been great. I mean, I just last night I went to a fan event for General Hospital. I haven't been on the show in like, I don't know, 12 years, 15 years. And they're still so kind. They invite me every year. I go and everybody's so happy. And so in terms of that kind of stuff, TV like that in General Hospital, they're the nicest fans in the world. And so it's just, I'm just grateful that people care about what you do, you know?
Yeah. Let's talk about mentorship. So you mentioned the actor from the Playhouse in New Jersey. Have there been any other people who have kind of inspired you or guided you or helped you along the way?
Oh, I've been inspired by so many people. In fact, if I'm not con constantly inspired, I'm hanging around with the wrong group of people. You never want to be the smartest or the best in any room you're in, you know? There's no growth in that. So, but currently I can say that in terms of mentorship for me personally, Joe Mantegna, the great Joe Mantegna, who you would know from Criminal Minds and lots of other stuff. He's the director of my Lenny Bruce show, and he's probably my biggest mentor in terms of showbiz and creating and you know, and just in life. I just love that man so much. And so he's been a huge mentor to me. But I've been inspired by people that would surprise you, you know, people who some little thing they do and I'm like I'm envious of that. I wanted to do that. I want to learn that. And then in terms of me providing mentorship, I run two theater companies in LA, Theater 68. LA will be 25 years old in February, and August 29th of this year will be 14 years old in New York. And I'm the artistic director of both. And so there's probably 50 artists in my artistic care. And so I try to kind of just provide opportunities and be a sounding board and help guide people when they ask for my help. And so I think it's a big part of the game is mentorship because I think
Yeah, give it back.
you need to know like it's possible and you're not alone. And that's why I think, you know, performance is incredible. Acting class is really important if it's, you know, if you still want to do that. But community in the arts is really important because you need to know you have a tribe of people,
Hmm.
you know. So,
Yeah. What's what's a piece of advice or a lesson that that you have learned either from a mentor that's been pivotal in your career in your life?
well, I'll relate it back to showbiz, but it could be in any area of your life. What's scary about this business is you don't know what's around the corner, if anything. And what's incredible about this business is you don't know what's around the corner, you know. And so uh I say for me it's a lifetime commitment. And again, back to the 8 hours a day thing. What are you doing with that other time? So I have so many friends you would know because they're famous now, who were about to give up. And then they got that audition that changed their life. And so that's the you don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
So that would be my biggest advice is, you know, there's value in the hard times as well, because that's when you figure out what you really love and what you really want. And so, yeah, hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
Super.
give up. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. That's the
No matter
moral.
what. Hmm.
No matter what.
Let's see. Uh, So how do you stay true to that artistic side of you while still navigating um, commercial success and kind of I portraying a controversial figure and everything?
It is so that's a great question and very difficult to navigate. And I walk such a fine line because at 20 years old, my art would feed me and everything hurts and I'm always in pain and I'm an artist, and now I'm a grown ass man with children and a home that the bank wants their mortgage every month. So it's a dance because it's like you want to stay true to the art, but also take care of your family. And it's at the end of the day, I really rely and trust my instincts. If I could sit quiet long enough and need to make a decision about something, like for instance, the Lenny Bruce show. If you've seen my branding, you know it's the middle finger. I don't know if you saw it online. Okay. If you see the branding, that's the middle finger. When I use the middle finger in certain cities, I sell twice the amount of tickets. It cuts through. People are like, holy moly, right? So there's that. If I get one more spam call. Drive me crazy. Uh but some cities, if there's a venue across the street from a school, they can't put that picture in the window. And so there I had to come to peace with certain, like, okay, they can only use this branding. It doesn't really brand the show, but it's enough. And so the way I kind of reconcile that for myself is, and that's one example of many, but that particular issue is that I say, Lenny Bruce was so much more than a middle finger. He was an incredible human being that offered so much to the planet and more than people realize until they see the show. And so for that reason, whatever gets them to the show, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about the middle finger. And it's in theory not even about the amount of tickets we sell, although some venues would argue that. It's really about people coming to have the experience of the man that I have in many ways given my life over to tell his story. And so I listen to my truth and my instincts. And if I feel like there's a greater message going on here and people need to learn about Lenny, then I need to use the cute smiley guy with the microphone, which I hate that picture, but I'm like, hey, it's not my brand, but I understand the value in getting people to come to the show.
Mhm. So,
So
so you
that's
have,
it. It's about my
yeah,
instincts. It's about, go ahead.
trust in your gut. Yeah. Yeah. So
Trust in
you
you. At the end of the
have,
day, you trust in your gut.
yeah. So you've got a demanding career, you've got family, I would imagine you do some self-care and everything. Like, how do you balance all that?
I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I really do have crazy energy. It doesn't stop.
I'm so
I'm like
jealous. I have
I'm
two
a
small
maniac.
and I have no energy.
I'm a maniac. I just can't stop. I surround myself with good people. My family supports me and loves me, and they know I have their best interest in heart. And if today you ask me to choose my career or my family, I'm my family every time. So
Mhm.
that's easy, So because I feel that way, it takes the pressure off a little. It's a lot. I always laugh when people say I'm done at work at 5. I'm like, I'm done at work when I pass out at night, and then when I wake up and coffee, I'm back at work. I don't understand what that means. I also don't understand when people retire. I don't know if I would ever be able to do that. I don't think so. Um, but I'm also in a business where I don't have to essentially retire. Uh, so how do I juggle it? I try to keep my priorities together and just try to put one foot in front of the other. And when I'm tired, I lay down, you know? And
Mhm.
sometimes that happens at 2 p.m. And then 20 minutes later, I get up and I'm back again. It just
Yeah.
doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. You follow your heart. Because I was gonna ask you like
follow my heart.
what routines do you have? But it sounds like you don't really need them that much.
Well,
Do you
I have
have like
routines.
habits?
Sure. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I have routines. I'm a little bit of a maniac in that way. Like I wake up usually an hour or two before everybody else in the house. I I have coffee. A lot of times I do this thing called sweat cycle. Do you know what sweat cycle is?
No.
It's basically riding a bike, but it's
Okay.
150 degrees in the room and you're sweating like an animal and
Okay.
some guy's yelling at you to keep going.
I
So
got it.
I do that. I guess it's like hot yoga in a
Yeah.
sense. I
Hot
don't
yoga
do
on a
that.
bicycle. Okay. Hot spin.
Basically,
Hot spin.
I do that a couple of times a week. It's really good for me, and I appreciate that. And I try to. I was just saying yesterday to my wife, I'm like, I have to stretch more. Like I'm starting to like. I get out of bed, I pull a hammy. I'm like, how'd you pull a hamstring getting out of bed? So I have that. I definitely. I usually. I'm just. I have a priority list every day that I make the night before. So I kind of have a routine of like, what are my priorities? And then I move things around going, I have to accomplish that tomorrow. I don't know. This I could punt to the next day or the next day. So that's kind of what I do. So I'm very structured in my priorities
Mm.
because I realize, there are other talented people on the planet, way more talented than me, and they're not having opportunity. So I really do think that hard work matters, really matters. Because there's a lot of people doing what we do, and I also am a big believer in like, if I get a job on the film or TV, come early, stay late, be very prepared, be helpful. I don't need anything, I don't want anything. If you need help carrying the sandbag or the light, I can help you if you'll let me. I just, because I realize that, there's a lot of people who want to do what I'm doing, so I want to make sure that next time they do the thing, they go,
Yeah.
just hire Ronnie. He's great. He'll be fine.
They'll
He'll
carry the
do good.
sandbags. Yeah.
He'll carry the sandbags. I think that's important
Mhm.
to just have that kind of like reputation and be
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
What do you, I want to be cognizant of your time. I know you're super busy. So what's next on the horizon for you?
Um, right now we're trying to figure out where the Lenny Bruce show is going. We have lots of great cities booked. If anybody's watching, if you can go to our social medias, I am Lenny Bruce, for Instagram and Facebook, and also Ronnie Marmo, my name. So we have some cool cities booked that we're about to do those. I'm playing Illinois at the end of the month. Um, but we also want to take this project to other places, whether it be film or television, or really get Lenny's message out there in a big way.
Yeah.
And I'm just, pursuing the thing. I mean, I'm really putting a lot of energy on my theater company, who I love. And, it's kind of like I said, I have a lot of irons in the fire. I'm a little superstitious, so I don't like to mention all of them. I get nervous, but they will not come to fruition because of a lack of trying or energy. Um, I think that's important too for actors or people in showbiz to understand when to keep pushing and when to go, this is not working, I should move on.
Hmm.
Because, people always ask me like, oh, how'd you get like successful? What do you do? And I go, you know what I do? I finish what I start.
Yeah.
I have an idea, I finish it. And then if it's really hard to finish, I go, okay, it's not supposed to be. I gotta move on to something else.
Hmm.
So it's just more of the same is on the horizon, more of the same. And that's what I love about showbiz. And I love directing too, because I always say to people like, you, what do you love the most? And I go, well, in some ways it's directing because I have experience as a director. I love storytelling, but every time I pick up a play or a film to direct, it's new actors, it's new material, it's new stories. So I have all my experience and yet I'm working with new people. So it feels very fresh.
Hmm.
So just more of the same,
Hmm.
really, you know.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, and that's super inspiring, and I love your attitude of helping others and being helpful and just your aura of like gratitude and excitement. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate you coming on here and talking to us today. And if you want to mention your Instagram or anything, you can. go for it, and everybody go check out I am Lenny Bruce, or I'm not a comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce.
Yeah, well, thank you. And hey, thank you for having me on. I'm really grateful whenever anyone feel like it's valuable to talk to you. It's really humbling. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that was
Um,
super valuable and really inspiring.
Thank
Um,
you. Yeah, and just the social media is I am Lenny Bruce. Social media for Instagram and Facebook, and also Ronnie Marmo, and also the Bill W. and Dr. Bob on stage. Um, in
and
fact, the
that's
website.
in LA.
We're running in LA right now, but we're also
Nice.
taking that show on tour. But we're running in Los Angeles now, and I play Bill, and my wife plays Lois Wilson, which is super cool to get to
That is
play
super
with her.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. And yeah, I think the Lenny Bruce website is lennybruceonstage.com, and the Bill W website is Bill W and Dr. Bob onstage.com. So both of them are on stage. And yeah, that's it. I appreciate any support and anybody who's interested. So
Yeah. Okay, well, and then you can follow us, breakingforwardcoaching.com. And we also have a Breaking Forward Coaching Facebook, Instagram, and on LinkedIn. And Ronnie, thanks again so much. And thanks for watching, everybody.
thank you.